Ho, ho, ho! Happy holidays, everybody! Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com. No, it's not Jeff Meacham here. This week, your old buddy Santa Claus is hosting the show. Jeff promised a guest host 2 weeks ago, and here I am. Today, we're not going to do a DVD review or book review because, well, Santa's got too many things to look at to worry about a DVD and a book review. However, he will answer your 10 questions. Let's get to them. Okay, this gentleman did not send me his name, although I do know his name, but I'm not going to read it on the air because, well, Santa doesn't want to give all his secrets away. Psycho C Menace at AOL.com. If you could choose anybody in any wrestling promotion to defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, who will you choose? My choice would be the former Judas Messias, who's in AAA now, because of his Messiah persona in the AWA, God. Santa's old school. He remembers the AWA. He remembers Vern Gagne and all of them in the AWA. Santa's older than them. To be perfectly honest, sir, I enjoyed The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Much like Mr. Meacham. Santa enjoys watching Undertaker on SmackDown every week and being the world champion. Santa has enjoyed The Undertaker for a very long time, even though he's a very demonic persona and doesn't really tie in with Santa Claus all that well. Santa's still down with The Undertaker. So I don't want to see anybody defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I would like to see, Undertaker remain undefeated at WrestleMania throughout his career and just be that steadfast persona that he's been for 20 years. Next year will be 20 years in the WWE. Can you believe that, folks? That's almost as long as Santa's been around. That's a long time. This one comes from Rob Tillison. Do you agree with Paul Heyman that ECW was the first victim of the Monday Night Wars because their top guys, Guerrero, Jericho, Taz, etc., went to WCW, WWE, and went on to become top stars in the business? It's very hard to argue against that, Rob. Thank you for your letter, by the way. It's hard to argue against that. ECW did fall victim to the WWE versus WCW wars. WWF at the time, of course. They were both very competitive at the time, as you know, and they both victimized ECW, in my not so humble opinion. Ho ho ho. Paulie is justified in believing they were victims of the Monday Night Wars. However, when you look at it, the wrestlers had to make money, the wrestlers had to earn a living, the wrestlers had to pay for their families and everything like that. So, if Paulie's not going to pay them, what are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go? And yes, Paulie was paying back then, don't get me wrong, I know that because I'm always watching, but what are they supposed to do? They need to earn a better living, a higher income. Of course they're going to go to WWF, of course they're going to go to WCW, that's just the way the business is. Alright, ironically, this next one is from Terry, it's a Hulk Hogan question. I was just recently watching the Rise and Fall of WCW DVD. You're eating coal for Christmas, sir. This is Santa's first appearance on Talk Wrestling and you're ruining it by driving by. You're eating coal. Big lump of coal. Santa-sized lump of coal. Anyway, Terry was watching the Rise and Fall of WCW DVD. I saw the part where Hulk Hogan fought Jeff Jarrett at Bash of the Beach 2000. My question for you. The incident that happened with Hulk and Vince Russo, where Hulk said, and I quote, "Another lump of coal. That's why this company's in the damn shape it's in, because of bullshit like this." Everybody's getting Santa to square today, Aaron. Honestly. The question I want to know is, was that real or was it staged? Can you give me info on why this happened? Okay. This has been thrown around for the past 9 years. Santa was watching very closely that night. And after careful examination of Eric Bischoff's book and Vince Russo's book and Hulk Hogan's book, we do know that up until the point where Vince Russo came back out and gave his little speech and told Hogan, "You're never coming back, blah, blah, blah," it was staged. It was part of the storyline. Vince Russo's subsequent speech, where he defamed Hogan's character, essentially, was a shoot. Complete, 100% real. That's why Hogan never came back to WCW as planned. That's why you never saw, you didn't see much of Russo after that either, to be honest with you. Russo kind of buried his own self. More coal. You're getting coal, sir. Ma'am. Sorry. That's why you didn't see much of Hogan after that, until he came back to the WWF. Because it was real, after Vince Russo came back out. This one is from Keith Clark, who's been a very good boy this year. I was just wondering what you would class as the 3 best Royal Rumble matches of all time. My three favorite, going from third to my absolute favorite, are the 1990 match where Hulk Hogan won, eliminating Mr. Perfect. My second favorite was the 96 Rumble where Shawn Michaels won, taking out Diesel. And my all-time favorite Rumble was the Rumble 2004 where Chris Benoit, who, in Santa's opinion, is a very good person, he's not a naughty boy, came through in the end against the Big Show. In my opinion, the 04 Rumble had just about everything, so that's why it pips the other two. Keith, thank you very much for your question. And thank you for bringing up Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is a nice person. He's not a naughty boy. He was on my nice list every year. Good person. Anyway. Santa's all-time favorite Rumble would probably have to be the 1992 Royal Rumble, where Ric Flair, whose list on the nice and the naughty list go back and forth. Let's be honest, Ric Flair. You know, you call yourself Space Mountain when that's a Disneyland attraction for little kids, and sometimes big kids. Ric Flair's an attraction for older women. Let's be honest. Ric Flair. Ugh. Anyway, where Ric Flair became the WWE Champion for the first time, he lasted over an hour. Came third man in, last man standing. Great Rumble match. My second favorite was one of the ones you mentioned, actually, the 2004 Rumble where Chris Benoit won, and he went on to become world champion at WrestleMania 20. I was saying his favorite WrestleMania, probably. WrestleMania 20, where it all began again. If Santa knows about anything, it's things beginning again, over and over. Santa knows about that. Santa's third favorite would have to be the 1991 Royal Rumble, because that was my favorite person, Jeff Meacham's first Royal Rumble. There we go. This is from John Whelan. My favorite In Your House pay-per-view of all time are Mind Games and Good Friends, Better Enemies, simply because they both have a few of my favorite matches of all time on them. Shawn Michaels versus Diesel at Good Friends, Better Enemies, and Shawn Michaels versus Mankind at Mind Games, which is my favorite match of all time. My question is, what was your favorite In Your House event and why? And what was your favorite match out of all the In Your House matches that you've seen? Well, Santa's seen them all. Santa's a wrestling fan. My favorite In Your House was probably Mind Games. Not only because of the great matches and the great main event between Shawn Michaels and Mankind, but because of the ECW involvement as well. That was hysterical to watch. I loved ECW. Yes, Santa loved ECW, even though it was so hardcore and violent. Mrs. Claus got a big kick out of me watching the hardcore wrestling, because I was so funny after. And that was my favorite. Mind Games. This is from Neil Moss. Hey Jeff, just want to know who are your top 5 favorite wrestlers who can play good heels and faces. Mine would be Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Mick Foley, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay. Santa has to go back into his wrestling history for this one. Undertaker's on that list. He's both a great good guy and a great bad guy. Shawn Michaels is also on that list, I would have to say. Mick Foley was more of a good sympathetic character than a good heel. He was a good heel at times, but he was more of a sympathetic character. The Rock was both. Steve Austin was a good heel when he was starting Steve Austin in WCW, but he was pretty much over in the WWF, and the fans loved him from day one, except for the Ringmaster thing, which Santa did not buy those green trunks for Steve Austin. Let me say that right now. He did not give those to Steve as a Christmas present. Those were awful. The $1 Million Man could have afforded better, and he even asked Santa to help him out, but Santa refused to get that gimmick over. Another favorite of Santa's mine would have to be... You know, as a good heel and a good face, both. It was Triple H. Triple H is good as both. Hulk Hogan. Nobody transitioned better from being the uber good guy to being the uber bad guy than Hulk Hogan. I really believe that. And yes, Santa's high on Hulk Hogan, yeah, I know, but you know what, Hulk Hogan was a hero to millions of little kids just like Santa, so, you know, Hulk's right up there on my list. This is from Anthony Easton. With the WWE Smackdown vs. Raw series now on all the three major consoles, Wii, PS3, and 360, and even on the handheld consoles and the ever-strong PS2, which version do you prefer and why? Well, Santa prefers all of them. Santa gives a lot of those away for Christmas each and every year. There's a lot of wrestling fans that love the Smackdown vs. Raw series. Personally, when I'm at the North Pole and I feel like playing a wrestling game, I prefer the PS2 because Santa's a little old school. Santa prefers the simpler play, and I know Jeff has talked about this. I've been watching his show. Jeff has talked about the fact that after SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, it's hard to manipulate the game controls to what you want to play. So my favorite all-time SmackDown vs. Raw game is 2007. I know a lot of you like 08 and 09 and are looking forward to 10 for Christmas, and a lot of you are going to get it for Christmas, don't worry. But Santa prefers 07 and on the PS2. Okay, Santa has a hard time with this name every year for Christmas, so I apologize, Mr. Edwards, but Germanicus, I apologize, Mr. Edwards. Is it just me, or does it seem like ever since the so-called rebirth of ECW, every champ they've had, excluding RVD, Big Show, and CM Punk, have been paper champions? I mean, come on. Vince's ECW champion was just a slap in the face to guys like Taz, Shane Douglas, and guys who've worked their ass off for that strap. How do you feel, and what is your opinion? Well, first of all, the fact you got Santa to say the word ass was a horrible thing to do. So shame on you, Mr. Edwards. The entire rebirth of ECW has been a joke ever since they took Paul E away from the booking side. Paul Heyman is a creative genius. Santa brought him his first writing pen, he knows. But yeah, RVD was a great ECW champion, Big Show was a great ECW champion, CM Punk, you know what? So was John Morrison / Johnny Nitro. He was a good champion. Mark Henry was a dominant champion. He was good. Christian's been a good ECW champion. I wouldn't say they're, quote, paper champions, as you put it, Germanicus. I apologize, Mr. Edwards. We'll just call you G. Can Santa say G? Is Santa not cool enough to say G, or is he cool enough to say G? Okay. Santa's gonna call you G, Mr. Edwards. Santa's dope. Anyway. They haven't, just some of them have been less worthy of being a world champion than others, let's put it that way. This is from Dustin Olivares. Sorry, Dustin, I apologize, sir. I have a two-part question. If Edge hadn't injured himself, how long do you think him and Jericho would have lasted as tag team champions? And also, if Edge hadn't injured himself, what do you think Big Show would be doing right now? Before he was announced as Jericho's new partner, he was going to be in the U.S. title match at Night of Champions. What do you think he would have done after that? Well, Santa knows. Because Santa's always watching. But I'm not going to reveal all my secrets again, as I said earlier. Honestly, I think it fits better for Jericho and Big Show to be tag team champions. Big Show's never been a true dominant tag team champion. He was champion for a couple times with The Undertaker back in the day. Remember the Holy Alliance in 1999? Santa remembers. But to be honest, I don't know what Big Show will be doing. He's supposed to be in the U.S. title match, as you mentioned, Dustin. And Big Show probably would have been floundering still had not been for Edge's injury. Edge and Jericho would have lasted a long time, like Big Show and Jericho lasting a long time as we speak. So, yeah. I'm not sure what would have happened to the Big Show. Well, Santa's always sure, but, you know, I don't want to reveal too much. Okay, Mike Ford. Shelton Benjamin received a huge push toward the U.S. Championship, and he held the title for 8 months. Why is Charlie Haas not getting any type of push like Shelton Benjamin? Don't get me wrong, I know Shelton is a great pure wrestler, but Haas deserves some type of push, even if it was to get in the unified tag title picture and reunite with Shelton Benjamin. Now Shelton's on ECW, his talents are not the same as seen on SmackDown. Haas is just seen today as a jobber and has not been winning as of late or seen on TV at all. Will Haas ever be a champ, IC champ, or US champ, or tag champ again? Well, Santa received a letter from Charlie Haas not too long ago, begging, pleading, please, Mr. Santa, let me be a champion again. That's what I want for Christmas, is to be a unified tag team champion with Shelton. And Santa's thought long and hard about that, Mike Ford, And to be honest, I cannot grant that wish, because Shelton Benjamin is much better off as a singles wrestler on ECW, getting that big push that he's getting right now. So, Mr. Haas, I am sorry I cannot grant you that Christmas wish. I apologize. Thank you all for watching Talk Wrestling this entire year.
Hey, Santa,
Jeff, thanks you.
Wait a minute, Santa. Whoa, Santa, wait a minute. It's the last show of the year. I gotta be on my last show, right? Anyway, thank you all for watching Talk Wrestling. Santa, you want to close out the show?
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you letting me come on the show today and wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, well then, you know, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, joyful holiday to you all, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays. Thank you for watching Talk Wrestling here on NoDQ.com. Go to NoDQ.com for all of your wrestling needs, and we'll see you next time.
And we'll see you next year on Talk Wrestling.